Good morning and welcome to Unfiltered Vision News. And good morning and welcome to Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered Monday through Friday. And my name is Dr. Ashaki Noni Nichols, and I will be your host. And good morning, Spud McKenzie. Thank you so much for joining me here this morning, and to everybody else out there joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News. So today is our Prayer with Friday, and trust me, we have a lot to pray about. We're going to get into some topics. We're going to get into some things that I've really been wanting to talk about. So we're going to talk about those today. But let's check out all sides first, just to get some news going. So apparently, the Seattle LGBTQ Commission requests civil emergency amid rise in trans refugees. Okay, now this is just very awkward to me because, first of all, you're Americans. You cannot be a refugee in America, and you cannot just make a classification of individuals refugees when that's not even what it's about. Refugees are from war-torn countries that are destabilized. You don't fall under that definition. You don't. And if you were saying, okay, we want to be in a place where there's more people like us, so we feel more accepted, that's completely your business. If you want to do that, what are you doing? Like, this is just very awkward to me. Now, I know a lot of people out there will say, well, they're, trans people, they're under threat, and this, that, and the other. They might be under threat because they're trying to force their lifestyle on other people who don't want to be a part of it. People are like, live and let live. But when you start messing with my children and you start demanding that I go along with what you want, that's when it becomes a problem. I think that's everybody's issue. That's everybody. Stop trying to force your lifestyle on me. Now, a lot of people might say, well, you're trying to force heterosexuality on people. Okay, first of all, I don't really see a campaign for people saying you have to be a heterosexual. Now, there might be some people that feel strongly about that, and they have a voice on that. And you have the opposition. But I really don't see anybody out with pitchforks and torches with this community. You're not from a war-torn country. You're not even from a war-torn state. You can't be a refugee. That's all I'm saying. If you want to be somewhere where people are more accepting of your lifestyle, then just say that, because that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what's going on. Now, Jill Biden says she feared her husband had a stroke during 2024. I saw a couple videos on this. Very interesting because I guess the interviewer said, "Hey, were you horrified?" And she was like, "No, I was more fearful that he was having a stroke, right? Because he couldn't talk. He couldn't talk. He couldn't walk. He was actually reading the prompts in the prompters during some of his, you know, speeches. A lot of times he wasn't in the Oval Office. They created an Oval Office type TV area. Sometimes he would walk the wrong direction. There was a time that he called somebody else's wife and not his wife. We all saw the downturn, and that was really disheartening and saddening for some people, especially if you had a relative who had dementia and then, it led into Alzheimer's. Very heartbreaking what we saw during his presidency. But in my opinion, they had such a lust for power politically, they didn't care what mental state he was in. Now she's coming out and doing a book tour because now she's got a book. He was never that bad. He was great. No, he wasn't, ma'am. We all saw it. The parts that we did see. And there were some body doubles, allegedly. We saw that too. That happened. That happened in our lifetime. And I want to say about 10 years from now, somebody will come out with that tell-all book that really exposes everything that happened. But they're going to try to wait till the statute of limitations runs out so they can't be called and arrested and tried and put in prison. Yeah. There's that. Paxton, apparently, his victory fuels debate over Trump GOP influence. Yeah, it's very telling. Very telling if Trump has influence on a lot of these races going on. Gavin Newsom signs a bill blocking ballot seizures by law enforcement. I find this one kind of fascinating because I'm like, what are you talking about? What does law enforcement have to do with the ballot? And why are you signing a bill blocking it? What are you hiding? Sorry, bigger question. Because no one's messing with you, or are they? And you want to write a bill? Okay, we're gonna get into some stuff Gavin Newsom's doing here in a minute. And then this last one: construction begins on UFC arena at the White House for America 250 event. Okay, this is where I'm kind of like, have we gone too far? Really, you gonna put a UFC arena at the White House? Who is this for? Not everybody's into UFC. UFC is it's kind of violent. Just saying, it's not everybody's thing. It isn't. It's UFC is not universal. Let's just put it that way. There are some people that like boxing. There are some people like wrestling, and there are some people that like UFC. I don't like it to the point that I want an arena celebrating 250 years of America. But hey, have your fun. It's your, I guess now that's part of your party. Now I'm going to say that President Trump, that's when it becomes your party and not ours. Okay. Cause that's just weird. But hey, do you, I'll tap out. I will just watch something else during that time. So those are the highlights of some different headlines we have today. And I'll make sure to uh, post the link for those headlines. Now I wanted to get into our trending topics on X. The first one I wanted to get into, apparently there was a brawl that erupted at a Mays High graduation near Georgia Tech. So a fight broke out Thursday outside of Georgia Tech following Benjamin E. Mays High School class of 2026 graduation in Atlanta, with some graduates in caps and gowns clashing as witnesses called it complete mayhem. Atlanta police from public schools, the city, and Georgia Tech campus responded fast, detaining 3 people and booking 2 into jail. No serious injuries occurred, and video is under review. Witness Nene Sims celebrating her nephew's big day. And if anybody who knows who Nene Sims is, she's from the Atlanta Housewives. Captured the escalation and said it dishonored families and the school, while the school praised the class's historic academic success and reaffirmed safety as a priority. It's a lot of nonsense going on. Now, some of these videos I'm going to play, they're not from Atlanta. They're from actually other parts of the country. This first one is from Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, in fact. And it ends in a massive brawl. And this is graduation. And people kind of wonder, like, where does this violent nature come from? Well, we've been under years of being desensitized. We have young mothers who are children themselves, and society is just falling apart. Now, yes, we are showing the melanated community, because you guys know how I am. I'm not going to call everybody a Black American. These are melanated humans doing these things. But what even sparked this? But why did it devolve into complete chaos? That's the bigger question. It's this de-evolution into chaos that's very concerning, and I think for everybody. Now, this next video that I came across, I'm not sure where this happened. I'm not sure. I don't think it's Georgia, because according to the statement I read, it happened outside of Georgia Tech. So this is a different graduation. And they were literally brawling like during the graduation ceremony. What is going on? What's happened to us? And this isn't a teen takeover. This was someone's graduation. This is a problem, and it needs to be addressed. It needs to be talked about. I'm not running from it. We need to have a larger conversation. Parents, you need to start parenting. Schools, you need to stop passing people who are illiterate, literally can't read or write, but they can fight and they know their pronouns. Because see, when you have individuals like this, they're more controllable. A devolved society. So sad. Now, the next topic I wanted to get into is Governor Newsom. Very interesting coming across this. So apparently he wants to impose 100% tax on payments distributed from the Trump's January 6th slush fund. Let's check this out.
I think we're going to try to do with your support is tax 100%. Anyone from California that receives any of those funds, we want to tax 100% of those proceeds. And that's an action the state of California can take. It's an action we look forward to taking.
Interesting. Now, Treasury Secretary Benson, he was asked, what his view was on this.
Thanks, sir. Governor Gavin Newsom has floated this idea of a 100% state tax on Californians who receive money from President Trump's anti-weaponization fund. Your response to the governor's call for 100% tax?
There's no cure for stupid. Mr. Secretary. Okay. Thank you all.
Now, interesting, he would have that response, right? So I looked it up in Grok and I was like, okay, what's going on? So I asked, can a state tax anyone at 100%? Because that sounds ridiculous. And here's my thing. If you could, are you taxing billionaires at 100%? Because you keep complaining about millionaires and billionaires and, oh my God, they're not getting taxed enough. And what are we going to do? They get taxed at 38%. A lot of people don't realize that they do. They do pay taxes. They do pay taxes. It seems low to us because we're not millionaires and billionaires, but they do pay taxes. But they're not taxed at 100%. Now here's what I research I got from Grok. It says no, a state cannot effectively impose 100% tax in this targeted way without serious constitutional problems. And that's why Bessent said, yeah, there's no cure. There's not a cure, right? So states have broad authority to tax their residents' income, including from federal sources in many cases. Now, the U.S. Supreme Court has long held that states can tax net income of residents, and the rate is generally a political question for legislatures. Courts won't strike it down just because it's excessive. All right. There's one thing in being excessive, and there's another thing being ridiculous. Okay, so however, 100% taxation crosses into confiscation territory and raises multiple issues. Due process, takings clause. The 5th and 14th Amendments prohibit states from taking property without due process or just compensation. 100% tax on a specific category of income can be challenged as a disguised penalty or seizure rather than a legitimate tax. And the way Newsom was sitting there, like, yeah, we're just going to do this to them specifically. Done. Like, you can't touch their money. If anything, you might owe them some money for threatening them. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to come after you. I'm just saying. So courts have struck down measures that are taxes in name only, but function as punishments. So equal protection, singling out one specific type of federal payment, here, January 6th related, or 100% taxation, while not applying it broadly, looks like unconstitutional discrimination, right? The supremacy clause, this is the biggest problem with California's announcements. States cannot use their tax code to nullify or interfere with federal programs or payments, which is what it's going to do. Proper description, word confiscation, right? Exactly. So crazy. So crazy. So the federal government, via Trump administration settlements, is distributing money under federal authority. A state tax that confiscates 100% of it is effectively blocking the federal policy. So federal courts have invalidated state actions that obstruct federal law. And that would be the argument. Like, you can't touch their money like that because this is a penalty. This is a wedge issue for you. It's Trump bad, Orange Man bad, and y'all are so triggered. You're weird people. I'm like, you should welcome the fact that even if they're not taxed at 100%, that taxable income is still going to go to your state for the individuals that do live there. So the state will still benefit off of it. You should be using it from that angle, not trying to punish people. What is wrong with you? Again, what is wrong with you? So states like California already have high income taxes. They do. Top marginal rate, 13.3%. Plus local, but nothing near 100%. So there is no constitutional cap that explicitly says states can't go to 100%, but in practice, 100% rate on targeted income would almost certainly be struck down as not a genuine tax. The reply in the X thread from January 6th defendant correctly points to the supremacy clause issue. Yeah, like Newsom is just saying stuff and being weird, and he needs to stop it. Now, this next topic I want to get into, and I got to get into it quickly. The NAACP. Now, this has been something that's been going on. As you can see, this was posted on May 20th by Black Alpha Network. So the NAACP, they want athletes, young athletes, college athletes, they're like, don't go to these southern states because the voting rights issue and the gerrymandering. First of all, in my opinion, this is none of the baby's business. Do not drag them into this. It's none of their business. First of all, you're not doing anything for Black Americans. So why are we here? And you want something from somebody? You want something. You want them to throw away their lives. You're not going to be there for them. So you can stand there and be like, see, we were able to do this. In exchange for what? For your whining? This is the most disgusting and depraved group I've ever seen. Like, when I say I am anti-NAACP, I want it abolished. I want a complete, thorough federal investigation. If there's any fraud going on, any nonsense, because it's mostly Democrats. There's no Republicans in there, by the way. No independents are there. So it's just, in my opinion, another arm of the Democratic Party. Just nothing. Nothing. You don't care about anybody. You definitely don't care about the American Negro. I don't even ever want to hear it. But let's get into this video.
NAACP this morning, in solidarity with the CBC, we are calling on athletes who are coming out of high school not to attend any state-funded schools of states that have moved to minimize our right to vote, to minimize our ability to elect candidates.
Nobody's minimized our right to vote. You're an idiot. You are really crazy. Nobody's minimized our right to vote. Your power is lessening because people don't want to be a part of the Democratic Party anymore. What are you talking about?
Of our choice, and states that are seeking to create a sharecropping reality. Whether that state be Missouri or Mississippi, whether that state is South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, or Florida. 55% of all African Americans live in the former Confederate South. But the 55% of us who live in the former Confederate South, we will not tolerate a Confederate mentality on our labor, on our ability to contribute, and our ability to be to have representation. In this moment, our democracy is in crisis. This is not about partisanship. This is about true representation. And for the NAACP, we will fight with all we have in solidarity with the Congressional Black Caucus to ensure that we have representation, or if we don't, we will withhold the talent that play on the football field or on the basketball court, be them men or female, in this moment.
Okay, like I said, I'm against this. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Because you don't do anything for the American Negro. And I'm going to show you where the NAACP, where their support really lies. Now, this video is from Black Alpha. He asked a bigger question.
I'm saying it now. Damn the NAACP and the Democrats' whole boycott of the Southeastern Conference, college athletics. Damn all of that. I denounce that. I want to see all the white athletes boycott those schools and allow the black athletes to continue to play there and get paid there. Let's see how much your allyship steps up to the table. Let's see how much you really down with black folks. You want to talk about black folks losing the money? How come again, fam? It ain't a all lives matter boycott. It's always all lives matter when it comes to tangibles, when it comes to policies, when it comes to benefits. Anything that directly benefits us, it's included with everybody. But when it comes to a boycott where black American college athletes are not getting paid and they're skipping over money, then it comes just the black kids do it. How come it ain't all kids do it? How come it ain't all people do it? How come it ain't all Southerners? How about everybody does it instead of just us? anytime it's a sacrifice, it's only the black people who got to do it. We got to be the ones who boycott. We got to be the ones who say we don't want the money. We got to be the ones out there in the streets. How come all the other people who claim allies and the Democrats love so much, they go out and do it? I'm calling on every single white college athlete to take the place of the black college athlete, and I want to see the white college athlete boycott the Southeastern Conference. I don't want to see the black ones do it. All my black collegiate athletes, the high schoolers going into college, get your NIL money, name, image, and likeness. Go get your money and don't boycott nothing. Go to all them schools and get paid. Now, the white athletes, I'm calling on you right now to go ahead and do the boycotting and stand up for your black brother. Stand up for your black sister. Let's see how much they're willing to put some skin in the game. Let's see how much they're willing to stand up and do the boycott. Or is it all fine and dandy when the black kids don't go and don't make money, so all the white kids take the place and get all that paper? Because that's what it's really about. And that's what the Democrats and the NAACP do in all aspects of society. Have the black person thinking that they fighting for all people and we lose out. While the white individuals, they benefit off of everything that the black person thought was meant for them. I'm calling on all the white athletes right now to stand up and boycott the Southeastern Conference. I bet you won't pass up on that money. I bet you won't pass up on that bag. I bet you won't. I bet you're going to be right there signing that damn deal. It's funny how they can call a boycott on a whole school. They can name every single Southeastern school by name, but they don't talk about the other half of the student body. They don't talk about the other athletes that come from other races. Notice it's only black again. It's only black when it's a sacrifice. You can talk about all those schools. You can name all those different things, but you only bring up basketball and football where the black kids dominate. He ain't say nothing about golf. He ain't say nothing about tennis. All the other sports they have in their athletic department, he didn't mention none of those. He specifically targeted the black schools with the black athletes and the black sports. You see what I'm talking about? They're using the redistricting and the gerrymandering as an excuse to do something that they already wanted to do anyway. And that is stop and prevent the Black American collegiate athlete from making millions of dollars with the NIL. That's what this is really about. It's the same reason why they attacked Shador Sanders, the same reason why they attacked Angel Reese. It's the same exact playbook. No pun intended.
Yeah. Well said, Black Alpha. And shout out to him. I've seen his network grow. He's awesome. But well said. Now let's get into a little bit more of the NAACP, shall we? Because I wanted to share some things with you guys. Like, look. So I said, what's the NAACP tweet on immigration? Because I was like, okay, I just wanted to pull some information. So this is actually what Google pulled up. It said the NAACP strongly condemns anti-immigration policies. What? Okay. Emphasizing that the targeting of immigrants is a civil rights issue. Huh? They're here illegally. If they're here illegally, what are you talking about? The organization actively fights for due process and human rights while opposing racial profiling and policies that divide communities. Okay, immigrants can't play the race game because they're neither black nor white. What are we talking about? What are you talking about? Now, here's some other stances on the immigration issue about the NAACP: birthright citizenship. The NAACP urges the Supreme Court to strike down executive orders that aim to end automatic citizenship for children born to undocumented immigrants, stating that the administration's actions invite chaos and sanction racial profiling. They're not a race of people. They're here illegally. Violated federal law, violated the Constitution, and you're supporting this? I know whose side you're not on. I know you are not for the American Negro, and this is why you were created to protect the American Negro, and you've done nothing but defile. Nothing but defile. Just gross. Condemning ICE tactics, policy reform. The NAACP maintains official resolutions calling for comprehensive immigration reform that moves away from scapegoating immigrants and prioritizing humanitarian values, respect, and dignity. Well, guess what's not happening? All of that Because see, when people come over here illegally, they get abused, and we don't talk about that. We don't talk about the children and the women and the men that are raped and killed and murdered and put into slavery. We don't talk about those things, but those things are happening. You've done nothing to prevent that harm. And guess what? In a couple of years, they'll be coming for reparations. Why? Because they were harmed by the federal government. Yeah, they will come for that. The American Negro has been fighting for reparations since Reconstruction because there were laws put in place that violated the Emancipation Proclamation, and it should never happen. But it did because there was actually a bill, Senate Bill 9, under the 39th Congress. And there is a statement that you cannot harm those that have been freed. It was read on the floor. It was never passed into law. Had it been, you wouldn't have had Jim Crow. There'd be no redlining. We'd actually be living under the Constitution as whole people, not needing civil rights. Why? Because that piece of legislation nullifies civil rights. It basically states that we are a part of America as citizens of this country who fall under the Declaration of Independence, who fall under the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Yeah. So NAACP, you're fired. All right. That's what I want people to know. They are fired. I'm going to attach this to you guys, for you guys. It is my Grok research, and I just wanted to outline some different things that the NAACP is supporting, right? And it is the National Association for Advancement of Colored People. Huh? Yeah, that's what it says. Colored people, like we're crayons or something. This is dumb. It is dumb. Okay. So one of their major campaigns was higher wages and school investments. They always want to throw money at things, but our children are stupider. We pay more per capita per student in this country, and the babies can't read by the time they're in the third grade. They can't read. We have literally illiterate people walking around because more than 50% of the people in the United States right now has a fifth grade reading level in education. And these are people that are graduating from college. Yeah. Insane. Another one of their issues, the Black athlete situation, power your vote, combating gerrymandering and redistricting. And you know how you combat gerrymandering? You actually represent people well. The reason why there's so much going on with these maps is because you failed at your job. Because it was all about power as actually opposed to serving the people that you represent. That's why the Democratic Party is a failure. And I'm saying the Democratic Party because those are the majority of the people in NAACP and the Congressional Black Caucus. All you are is a bunch of Democrats running around. Here's some other issues in areas that they support. Race and justice, economic empowerment, education. They say all these really great things, but they're really not helping the American Negro or colored people, as they like to say. Okay? It's really disgusting. It's really, really disgusting to me. And what's really gross is the family issues, right? For me. I don't like the fact that their whole thing, their support of the LGBTQ community to the point where they're okay with the Black family just not existing. They're okay with that. They are truly, truly okay with that. And I said, what is their stance on LGBTQ and families? It says the NAACP has a longstanding official position of strong support for the LGBTQ plus rights, including marriage, equality, family formation, and protection against discrimination. This aligns with their broader mission of advancing civil rights and fighting systemic discrimination, viewing LGBTQ plus issues, especially for Black LGBTQ individuals, as intersecting with racial justice. Now, just know, I do have people in my family that they live an alternative lifestyle. Nothing against them. That's their choice. But here's the thing. Eventually, that leads to depopulation. You do understand that, right? Because two people of the same sex cannot reproduce naturally. It's not a thing. And people are like, oh, there'll always be in vitro. No, there won't. No, there won't. There will not always be in vitro. And that's not normal. So you're okay with depopulation. You don't want the existence of the American Negro anymore. You are okay with us just dying off because you're literally supporting depopulation. I didn't even get into the support of abortion. I'm sure they support that too because they're okay with killing babies, absolutely killing babies. This is who they are. This is who they are. Their support for families extends to recognizing diverse family structures, including same-sex couples and LGBTQ parenting, and deserving equal legal and social protections. So they already have a whole group and a community. What are you doing supporting them? Oh, that's right. That's who you are. Just saying. We have a lot to pray for. We truly have a lot to pray for. Because depopulation is a thing. It's the food, the water, the air. Our souls are at stake right now. And this is a big deal. It's a big deal. So God, I want to thank you for this week. I want to thank you for today. I want to thank you so much for just giving us the opportunity to speak about hard issues, to speak about other just harms, God. And I know a lot of times in our emotions, just as humans, we think we're doing what's right by attacking one another, and we don't want to do that. Even me, I don't want to attack the NAACP. I'm praying that the NAACP changes and they really get back to the purpose of why they exist in the first place. They exist literally to protect, as it said, colored people. And it was a specific people that were harmed on this land, specifically still harmed, unfortunately, to this day. And those same people, God, whatever that demonic spirit is running through the Black community, God, I'm just praying, Father, that you take it away, God, and really start to direct our youth away from terrorizing and destroying one another and to start to build one another up. God, these teen takeovers, it's getting more dangerous by the week. Father, I'm praying for the parents of these children. Definitely praying for the children to stop. Again, this is a demonic spirit. It is a demonic takeover. And we are praying for each and every individual out there. Please protect us as we go into our new beginning. Please protect those out there, officers, firefighters, those that are EMTs and supporting different communities. God, protect them. Because I know, God, you're looking after each and every one of us. You created us, and we're all different and beautifully unique. But the one thing that makes us the same is that we are human. That we need to remember that at the end of the day. And even though we might have our disagreements, we need to remember that. And really, truly remember to love one another. So, God, we thank you. We're praying for each other. We're praying again for our youth. We're praying for those that are sick and shut in, those that are having any ailments that maybe recently got out of the hospital, God. We're praying for their quick recovery, God, and we're praying for your protection as we travel, as we're out with our family and our friends. I know a lot of families are going to be out on vacation. School is out for a lot of people, and I'm just praying that you protect each and every one of us, God. We love you, and it's in Jesus, Yeshua's name we pray. Amen. So again, thank you guys so much for joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News, and we will be back on Monday with our Recap Monday. So thank you guys, and remember, stay well, stay focused, and stay unfiltered. We'll see you in the next one.